She cleaned hotel rooms to survive. He ruled Seoul's underworld with blood. One wrong door, one stolen moment, one bullet that changed everything. What happens when an African woman becomes the obsession of Korea's most dangerous man? You're about to find out why some doors should never be opened, and some loves can never be escaped. Your hands are shaking, but your eyes are steady. Either you're braver than you look, or you've seen death before. I haven't seen anything. Please, my brother is waiting for me. Kemi only wanted to finish her shift and get home to Tunde. The luxury hotel was almost silent at this ungodly hour. Just the hum of air conditioning and the distant sound of traffic 20 floors below. But pushing open that unmarked door on the executive level changed everything. She wasn't meant to be there, not in the most feared man's private suite in Seoul, not staring at surveillance photographs splattered with blood on an ornate desk, not touching the ceremonial knife still wet with red, and absolutely not standing frozen when he walked in drenched in violence. If she'd only finished cleaning the corridor one room earlier, he wouldn't have seen her. Wouldn't have pulled her into a world where mercy was currency and love was the most dangerous weapon of all. Before we dive into this story, if you're new here, welcome to the family. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell because we drop intense Afro-Korean stories daily. And trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next in this series. Now, let's get back to Kemi's story, because things are about to get dangerous. Kemi's knees ached from kneeling on marble floors that probably cost more than everything she owned. The executive suite on the hotel's 20th floor should have been vacant at 2:30 in the morning. That's what the night manager had insisted when he'd handed her the master key with strict instructions to avoid disturbing anything personal. But Suite 2001 felt anything but empty. The silence had weight to it, pressure that made her ears ring. Shadows cast by crystal lamps seemed to move independently. The air held a metallic tang that made her stomach turn. Every instinct screamed at her to leave, to lock the door behind her and pretend she'd never been assigned this room. Instead, she wheeled her cot deeper inside. Tunde needed his medication refilled this week. The electric bill was overdue. She couldn't risk losing this hotel contract by refusing a single assignment. A dark stain spread across white Persian carpet near the window. Wine, she told herself firmly. Just expensive red wine that someone had spilled. Kemi knelt with her cleaning solution and towel, scrubbing at the mark that refused to lift. Something gleamed near the edge of the stained photographs. Glossy surveillance photos showing men's faces, some circled in red ink, others marked with X's. The top photo showed a man's lifeless eyes, staring at nothing Kemi's breath caught. Her hand knocked against something else. The knife. It was ornamental, the handle carved jade, but the blade was very real and very recently used. Blood still clung to the edge. Her scream died in her throat as the suite door crashed open. Men flooded in, weapons already drawn, moving with the kind of precision that spoke of military training and absolute loyalty. Kemi's body locked in place. The knife was still in her hand. She couldn't move, couldn't breathe, could only watch as armed men surrounded her from every direction. Then he entered. The others shifted aside without being told, creating a path for the man who commanded them with his mere presence. Choi Seung-ho moved like violence personified, each step controlled and deliberate. His black suit was splattered with crimson patterns. Dark hair fell across his forehead in disarray. Eyes like obsidian swept the room once before fixing on her, on the knife she held, on the photos at her feet, on the damning picture she created. "Sir," one of his men spoke with careful respect. "She's housekeeping, but the timing is concerning." Seung-ho raised one hand. Every sound in the room ceased instantly. He approached slowly, deliberately. Kemi pressed herself against the window, the knife slipping from her nerveless fingers to clatter on the floor. He stopped close enough that she could detect expensive cologne layered over gunpowder and copper. Close enough to see the tiger tattoo that emerged from his collar, stripes vanishing beneath fabric. His hand moved suddenly, fingers closing around her throat. Not painfully, but inescapably. His thumb found her racing pulse. "Your hands are shaking," he observed, voice like dark velvet, "but your eyes are steady. Either you're braver than you look or you've seen death before. Please." Her voice barely worked. "I haven't seen anything. My brother is waiting for me. I just clean. I wasn't supposed to be here." Something flickered behind his eyes. Curiosity, perhaps. or recognition of something he hadn't expected to find, sir. Another guard burst through the door. The Viper Syndicate tracked our location. They're mobilizing. We need to evacuate immediately. Sung-ho's jaw tightened. He studied Kemi for one more heartbeat, then made a choice that would alter everything. She's coming with us. No. Kemi's survival instincts finally activated. I can't. Tunde is home alone. He's only 10. He has asthma. I need to get back to him. You have 5 seconds to choose. His tone carried no warmth. Come willingly, or I'll have you carried. Either way, you're leaving this hotel with me now. Tears blurred her vision. Why are you doing this? I'm nobody. That remains to be determined. He leaned closer, breath warming her ear. Because nobody has made my heart rate increase the way yours is affecting mine right now. Before she could process his words, automatic gunfire erupted in the corridor. Sung-ho moved faster than thought. His arm wrapped around her waist, yanking her against his chest as he spun them behind a marble pillar. Bullets destroyed the window where she'd been standing seconds before. His body covered hers completely, becoming a shield she hadn't requested. She felt him flinch, felt warmth spreading against her side where his blood seeped through his suit. You're bleeding. The words escaped before she could stop them. He pulled back just enough to meet her eyes, and something raw crossed his features. Perceptive for someone in your position. What position is that? Dead. He studied her face. Or you would be if I hadn't acted. She stared at him. You protected me. Why? His men returned fire, clearing a path toward the service elevator. Sung-ho's grip on her never loosened. When she stumbled, he simply lifted her, carrying her as though she weighed nothing. Her hands instinctively gripped his shoulders, feeling coiled muscle and heat through his blood-soaked shirt. Stop analyzing me like that, he commanded as the elevator doors sealed them inside. Like what? Like you're trying to understand why you're still breathing. Kemi's voice came out smaller than intended. Shouldn't I be? His eyes darkened, traveling slowly across her face. I'm beginning to question that decision myself. The elevator descended into his world, and Kemi understood with terrifying certainty that she would never emerge the same person, if she emerged at all. The underground parking structure reeked of exhaust and danger. 3 black vehicles waited with engines running. Sung-ho deposited her in the rear seat of the middle one, then slid in beside her, too close. Near enough that his leg pressed against hers. Kemi hugged herself, attempting to become smaller. The leather interior probably cost more than a year's rent. Blood from the cut on her palm was definitely ruining the upholstery. Stop that, he said quietly. Stop what? Making yourself invisible. It makes my men think you lack courage. His eyes found hers in the dim light. Show me I'm wrong about that. Anger cut through her fear. I clean floors for people in your world. I'm exactly as weak as you assume I am, people in my world? His voice held dark amusement. Enlighten me, Kemi. What kind of person do you think I am? She should have remained silent, should have been smart. Instead, exhaustion and terror made her reckless, the kind who destroys lives without thought, who takes whatever he wants regardless of who suffers, who probably can't even remember how many people he's killed. The vehicle fell deathly silent. Even the driver seemed to stop breathing. Sung-ho shifted, angling his body toward hers completely. When he spoke, his voice was soft. Lethal. I remember every single one, every name, every face, every final word they spoke. His fingers caught her chin, forcing her face up to his. The real question is whether I'll remember you for the correct reasons. Her pulse hammered against his fingers. Am I going to die tonight? Not by my hand. His thumb traced across her lower lip, the gesture so unexpected she gasped. Though I suspect you might be the one who destroys me in the end. Sir? The driver interrupted carefully. We've arrived. Kemi looked through the window and her heart sank. The tower stretched toward the sky like a monument to power. She'd cleaned the ground floor once and been explicitly told never to venture above level 2. This was the Sapphire Tower, Seoul's most exclusive address. Choi Seung-ho owned the entire top 15 floors. The private elevator required his fingerprint and iris scan. As they ascended, Kemi became hyper-aware of everything. The way his cologne surrounded her, the dried blood staining his clothes, the heat emanating from his body mere inches from hers. "You're watching me," he said without turning. "You're injured. I've been injured before, because of me tonight." Now he looked. Interesting conclusion. You shielded me with your own body. Why would you do that? The elevator opened before he answered. The penthouse beyond defied comprehension. Wall-to-wall windows showcased Seoul's glittering expanse artwork that belonged in museums lined the walls. Everything projected power, wealth, and profound isolation. "Mrs. Lim," he called. An elegant older woman appeared, her kind eyes widening when she saw Kemi Sir. "Your guest requires medical care and clean clothing. Dispose of what she's wearing." "I'm not your guest," Kemi said quietly. "I'm your captive." He turned, approaching slowly until she had to tilt her head back to maintain eye contact. This close, she could see amber flecks in his dark eyes, could see the thin scar crossing his left eyebrow, could sense the controlled violence humming beneath his skin. "Captives don't receive the luxury suite," he murmured, "or my personal protection, or my attention. What do captives receive?" His lips curved in something that wasn't quite a smile. "You really don't want that answer." He started to walk away, then paused. "Your brother, Tunde, correct? 10 years old, severe asthma, requires daily medication." Kemi's blood turned to ice. "How could you possibly know that? I make it my business to know who I nearly died protecting." He pulled out his phone, typed something he's been collected. "He's safe. He's currently eating ice cream with one of my men's children." Her knees gave out. "You kidnapped my brother?" "I secured him." His voice hardened. "The Vipers identified you with me tonight. That marks you and everyone you care about as targets, because you pulled me into your world." "Precisely," he agreed simply. "Because of my decision." Tears slipped down her cheeks before she could prevent them. "I hate you." Something shifted in his expression. He crossed back to her in 3 strides, backing her against the window. The city lights created a halo around him, like he embodied both devil and salvation. "Hate me all you want," he said softly, dangerously. "But understand something, Kemi. You belong to me now. Your safety, your brother's safety, your every breath exists because I permit it. The sooner you accept this reality, the easier your life becomes." "This." His hand rose to rest against the glass beside her head. She could feel the heat of him, the barely restrained control. "Whatever this is between us," he murmured, eyes dropping to her mouth. "That makes me want to know what your laughter sounds like, what angers you, what name you whisper when you dream." Kemi's breath caught. "You've lost your mind." "Possibly." He pushed away from the wall. "Mrs. Lim will help you clean up. Try to leave and my men will stop you. Try to contact anyone and you'll endanger them. Do you understand?" She nodded, despising herself for the submission. As he walked away, she called out, "Why do you actually want me here?" He paused at his bedroom entrance. When he looked back, something vulnerable flickered across his features. "When I determine the answer to that question," he said quietly, "you'll be the first to know." The bathroom was larger than her entire apartment. Kemi sat on the edge of a marble tub, while Mrs. Lim carefully extracted glass fragments from her palm. Each pull of the tweezers made her wince, but she bit her lip to stay silent. "You're allowed to show pain," Mrs. Lim said gently. "He's not here to judge your humanity. Does he judge himself for being human?" Mrs. Lim's hands stilled. "What makes you believe he's human at all? The way he looked at me just now, ah." Mrs. Lim resumed her work. "You perceive it too, then?" "Perceive what?" "How different he is with you." "I've served Mr. Choi for 9 years. I've never witnessed him protect someone outside his inner circle." She applied antiseptic that burned like fire. "Never seen him look at someone the way he looks at you, like he wants to kill me, like he wants to consume you completely," Mrs. Lim corrected softly. "Two entirely different things." Heat flooded Kemi's face. "That's absurd. He doesn't know me. Men like him don't need to know. They feel, they desire, they claim." Mrs. Lim secured a bandage. "The question is, what will you do about it?" Survive until I can escape? Mrs. Lim's smile was sad. Oh, child, you truly believe he'll release you. Before Kemi could respond, raised voices erupted from somewhere in the penthouse. She recognized Sung-ho's voice, cold and lethal. Another man was arguing back, words she couldn't distinguish. A door slammed. Footsteps approached. Sung-ho appeared in the bathroom doorway, and Kemi's breath caught. He'd changed clothing. Black dress pants, black shirt with sleeves rolled to reveal forearms covered in intricate tattoo work. Tigers and dragons twisted around his skin in eternal combat. Out, he told Mrs. Lim, though his eyes never left Kemi. Mrs. Lim bowed and vanished. You should be changing, he said. You should be managing whatever that argument was about I did. My second-in-command believes keeping you is a liability. Fear crawled up her spine. Perhaps he's correct. Perhaps. He entered the bathroom fully, and suddenly the space felt claustrophobic. But I've never been skilled at releasing things I want. You don't want me. You don't even know who I am. He moved closer. Kemi stood, refusing to feel smaller than she already did. It didn't help. He still towered over her, still radiated that dangerous magnetism that made her pulse race for all the wrong reasons. I know you work 4 jobs to support your brother, he said quietly. I know you sing to him during his asthma attacks. I know you haven't purchased yourself anything new in 3 years because Tunda needed school supplies. Her throat tightened. How could you possibly have that information? I had you investigated the moment I saw you. His hand rose, fingers hovering along her jaw without quite touching. But none of that research explains why looking at you makes me feel like I'm suffocating. Stop, she whispered. Stop. What? This game. Whatever you're playing. You think this is entertainment? His voice dropped to something darker. You think I take bullets for amusement? You think I bring strangers into my home for fun? Then what am I doing here? Anger and something else. Something primal boiled in her veins. He leaned closer, near enough that she could feel his breath on her lips, becoming mine. I don't belong to you, she shot back, voice trembling. No? His hand finally made contact, thumb brushing across her cheekbone. Then why is your pulse racing? Why are your pupils dilated? Why are you leaning into my touch, even while your mind screams at you to run? Kemi jerked back, hitting the counter. Because I'm terrified. Liar. But he stepped back, giving her space to breathe. The clothes Mrs. Lim brought are on the bed. Dinner is in 30 minutes. Don't make me come retrieve you. He left her there, heart pounding, skin burning where he'd touched her. This wasn't supposed to happen. She was supposed to clean hotels and go home to Tunde. She wasn't supposed to be trapped in a penthouse with a man who looked at her like she was both his salvation and his destruction. She wasn't supposed to wonder how his lips would taste. Kemi pressed her palms against her eyes, trying to center herself. She had to be strategic, had to survive, had to return to Tunde. But as she looked at herself in the mirror, she saw the truth written in her flushed cheeks and bright eyes. She was already drowning, too. The closet was full of clothes that fit perfectly, everything in her exact size. It should have terrified her. It definitely should have, but Kemi grabbed the simplest items she could find. A black sweater and jeans, trying to armor herself in normalcy. When she emerged from the bedroom, male voices carried from the dining room. She followed the sound, then froze in the doorway. Sung-ho sat at the head of a long table surrounded by men who looked like they killed professionally. They all radiated the same energy, controlled violence barely contained in expensive suits. But Seung-ho was different. Where they were weapons, he was the hand that wielded them. His eyes found her immediately. "Gentlemen," he said without looking away from her, "we're finished here." The men filed out, several throwing curious glances her way. One, younger than the rest, with a scar across his throat, paused near her. "You must be extraordinary," he murmured. "He's never cleared a room for anyone Baek-hyun." Sung-ho's voice carried a warning that made everyone move faster. When they were alone, Kemi stayed frozen in the doorway. "I don't bite," he said, pulling out the chair beside his, "unless you request it." "That's not amusing. I wasn't being humorous." He waited, patient as a predator. "Sit, Kemi. You need to eat." She moved carefully, aware of his eyes tracking her every movement. The table was set for two, Korean dishes that smelled incredible arranged between them. You had this prepared specifically for me. You haven't eaten in 14 hours. How could you possibly know that? He poured her tea, the gesture oddly domestic. I pay attention to details. They ate in silence for several minutes. Kemi tried to focus on the food, but she felt his gaze like a physical presence. When she finally looked up, he wasn't even pretending not to stare. "What is it?" she asked. "You have a mark," he said quietly. "Right here." His finger pointed to the spot below her left eye. "It's distracting." "A mark is distracting? Everything about you is distracting." He leaned back in his chair, studying her. "It's becoming problematic." "Then release me." "No. You can't just keep me here indefinitely. Watch me." She set down her chopsticks harder than necessary. "What do you actually want from me?" "I told you. I don't know." For the first time, he looked genuinely frustrated. This isn't how things operate for me." "How do things usually operate?" she asked. "I want something. I take it. I grow bored of it. I discard it." The words hurt more than they should have. "So I'm just another possession waiting to be discarded." "No," he said immediately, fiercely. "That's precisely the problem. You're not. Then what am I to you?" He stood abruptly, moving to the window. Seoul glittered below them. A kingdom of lights he ruled from darkness. "You're the first person to look at me without seeing my reputation, my power, my wealth." He turned back to her. "You looked at me like I was just a man covered in blood who frightened you. Do you comprehend how long it's been since someone saw me as simply human? Perhaps because you don't behave like one." He laughed, dark and genuine. "Valid point." Kemi stood, drawn to him despite her better judgment. "Is that why you kept me? Because I didn't recognize who you were?" "Partially." He watched her approach, tension coiling through his frame. "But mostly because when I saw you holding that knife, looking terrified yet still defiant, something in me recognized something in you." "What?" "A survivor," he said softly. "Someone who's been shattered but refuses to remain broken." "You know nothing about being broken." His expression darkened. "Don't I?" Without thinking, he pulled his shirt up slightly, revealing his torso. Kemi's breath caught, not just at the defined muscle, though that was distracting enough, but at the scars. Dozens of them. Knife wounds, bullet holes, burns, a road map of violence across his skin. "Every scar has a history," he said quietly. "Most from before I had power. When I was just another street kid trying to survive another day." Kemi's hand moved without permission, fingers hovering over a particularly vicious scar near his ribs. "Don't," he warned, voice rough. "Why not?" "Because if you touch me right now, I'm going to do something we'll both regret." She should have listened, should have stepped back. Instead, her fingers made contact with his skin. He inhaled sharply. His hand caught her wrist, not painful, but firm. "Kemi." "What?" "You're playing with fire. Perhaps I'm tired of being cold." Something snapped in his eyes. He spun her, pressing her back against the window. The cold glass made her gasp, but his body was furnace hot against her front. "You don't understand what you're asking for," he growled. "I'm not asking for anything." "No?" His hand slid up to cradle her throat, thumb resting against her racing pulse. "Then why are you looking at me like that?" "Like what?" she asked, breathing heavily. "Like you want me to kiss you." Her breath stuttered. "I don't want that." "Liar." He leaned closer, lips barely brushing her ear. "But don't worry. When I kiss you, and I will, you'll be begging for it first." He stepped back abruptly, leaving her gasping against the window. "Your brother," he said, voice returning to that controlled calm. "Would you like to speak with him?" The change of topic gave her whiplash. "Yes, please." He pulled out his phone, dialed, then handed it to her. "Kemi!" Tunde's voice was bright, happy. "Guess what? I'm having the most amazing time. Mr. Park has a son my age, and we're playing video games, and they have a pool and everything. And are you okay?" She interrupted. "Are you safe?" "Yeah. Mr. Park is really kind. He says I can stay as long as you need." When are you coming? Her eyes burned with tears. Soon, baby. Be good for them, okay? I will. Kemi, are you crying? His small voice broke through the speakers. No, I miss you. Miss you too. But I'm okay. Promise. The line disconnected. She handed the phone back, wiping her eyes. He's safe, Seung-ho said quietly. My best man is guarding him. Why would you do that? Because you are. He started, then stopped. She looked up at him, eyes questioning, urging him to complete the thought. He sighed like she was testing his limits. She was. He'd never spoken so many words until he encountered Kemi. Because you're under my protection now. That extends to what belongs to you. For how long? His eyes darkened. For as long as I decide. And if I want to leave, you won't. That's arrogant. That's reality. He moved closer again, unable to maintain distance. You feel it too. This pull between us. It's why you're not screaming for help. Why you touched me when I warned you not to. Why your body moves toward mine even when your mind says run. You're wrong. Her voice shuddered slightly. Prove it. He held out his hand. Take my hand right now, and I'll let you call anyone you want. Police, friends, anyone. Kemi stared at his outstretched hand. Freedom. All she had to do was take it. Her hand moved forward. Their fingers touched. Electric heat shot up her arm. Neither of them moved to reach for a phone. I hate you, she whispered. But her fingers interlaced with his. No, he said softly, pulling her closer. You hate that you don't hate me. A knock interrupted them. One of his men entered, bowing quickly. Sir, urgent situation. The Vipers are mobilizing. Our intelligence says they're hunting for the woman. Seung-ho's entire demeanor changed. Ice flooding his features. Triple the security. Nobody gets within 4 blocks of this building. Sir, perhaps we should consider relocation. No. He cut him off. His hand tightened on Kemi's. She stays where I can see her. The man left. Kemi tried to pull her hand free, but Seung-ho held firm. Why do they want me? What did I do? I'm going to discover that. His thumb traced circles on her palm, the gesture at odds with the violence in his eyes. But until I do, you don't leave my sight. That's impossible, she fired at him. That's non-negotiable. She finally yanked her hand free. I'm not your property. No, he agreed. You're far more dangerous than that. Before she could ask what he meant, another man burst in. Sir, they're here. The Vipers are in the building. Gunfire erupted somewhere below them. Seung-ho moved instantly, pushing Kemi behind him, while pulling a gun from beneath his jacket. Panic room, he ordered. Now, I'm not leaving you. He spun, gripping her face between his hands. Yes, you are, because if something happens to you, I'll burn this entire city to ashes. The raw honesty in his voice stole her breath. More gunfire. Closer now. Go! He pushed her toward Mrs. Lim, who appeared with several guards. Keep her safe or I'll end you myself. As Mrs. Lim dragged her away, Kemi looked back to see Seung-ho loading his weapon. Tiger tattoos rippling as his muscles moved, he looked like what he was. Death in an expensive suit. Their eyes met across the room. Stay alive, she whispered. Something soft flickered across his face. For you, always. Then the doors burst open and hell arrived in the penthouse. The panic room was a luxurious prison. Monitors showed every angle of the penthouse, and Kemi watched in horror as violence exploded across the screens. Seung-ho moved like a force of nature, efficient, brutal, graceful in his lethality. She watched him take down 4 men without hesitation, his expression never changing from that cold calm, but there were so many of them. Why does he have so few guards here? She asked Mrs. Lim. He sent most of them to protect your brother. Kemi's chest tightened. What are you saying? Words are just words. Your safety, your brother's safety, comes before his own now. On the monitor, someone got behind Seung-ho. Kemi screamed a warning he couldn't hear, but he moved at the last second. The blade meant for his back only sliced across his shoulder. Blood bloomed across his shirt. He kept fighting. I can't watch this. Kemi turned away, but the sounds of violence echoed even through the reinforced walls. Then don't watch, Mrs. Lim said gently. But understand what you're witnessing. That man has survived 42 assassination attempts. He's never been seriously injured in more than 3 tonight. He's already taken 2 wounds. So? So the only difference tonight is you, Mrs. Lim touched her shoulder gently. He's distracted because you exist vulnerable, because you matter to him. I don't matter to him. He doesn't know me. Child, men like him don't need time to know. They recognize what's theirs immediately. Fighting it only makes the pull stronger. A massive explosion shook the building. On the monitors, smoke filled the penthouse. Kemi couldn't see Sung-ho anymore. No, no, no. She pressed against the door. Let me out. Absolutely not. He could be hurt. He could be dead, Mrs. Lim said bluntly, which is why you stay here where he wants you. Minutes passed like hours. The smoke cleared gradually. Bodies littered the penthouse floor. Sung-ho stood in the center of the carnage, chest heaving, blood dripping from multiple wounds, alive. The door to the panic room opened. He stood there, swaying slightly, eyes wild until they found her. You're hurt, Kemi breathed, moving toward him. Don't. He held up a blood-covered hand. I'm not safe right now. She could see it. The violence still singing through his veins, the predator barely leashed beneath his skin. This was who he really was, the monster everyone feared. She should have been terrified. Instead, she crossed to him slowly, like approaching a wounded animal. Kemi, don't. She reached up, hands framing his face. You're safe. I'm safe. Breathe. He shuddered, eyes closing. When they opened again, some of the wildness had faded. You should be running from me. Probably. Why aren't you? She didn't have an answer, only knew that seeing him injured made her chest ache in ways that terrified her. You need medical attention. Later, he said. Now, she countered Kemi. Now, or I'll treat them myself. His lips twitched. Bossy little thing. Someone has to be, since you clearly have no self-preservation instincts. I preserved you, he said quietly. That's all that mattered. Her heart stuttered. Don't say things like that. Why not? Because I might start believing them. Believe this, then. Anyone who tries to harm you will beg for death before I grant it. That's not romantic. I never claimed to be romantic. I'm possessive, violent, and completely obsessed with keeping you breathing. His hand rose to cup her cheek. If you want poetry and flowers, you're with the wrong monster. I don't want anything from you, she said. Liar. His thumb traced her bottom lip. But that's acceptable. I'm patient. I can wait until you're ready to admit it. Admit what? He smiled then, dark and knowing. That you're mine, even if you hate it, even if you fight it, even if it takes me a lifetime to earn it. Kemi stared up at him, this beautiful, terrible man who'd killed for her, who bled for her, who looked at her like she was his entire world condensed into human form. You're insane. Perhaps, he swayed again. And this time she caught him, his blood warm against her hands. But I'm your insane. As she helped him to the medical room, surrounded by death and destruction he'd wrought to keep her safe, Kemi realized the terrifying truth. She wasn't searching for an escape anymore. She was searching for a reason to stay. Dawn broke through the windows like spilled gold. Kemi hadn't left Sung-ho's side all night. She sat curled in an uncomfortable chair beside his bed, watching his chest rise and fall, 21 stitches across his shoulder, 7 more on his ribs, various other wounds that would scar. All because he'd protected her. His men had cleared the bodies, repaired the damage with frightening efficiency. By morning, you'd never know a war had been fought here, except for the man sleeping in the bed. His phone buzzed. Kemi grabbed it before it could wake him. Hello? Kemi! Tunde's voice was bright and excited. Are you coming today? Mr. Park says maybe you can visit. Soon, baby. Is Mr. Choi there? He promised to teach me taekwondo. Kemi looked at the sleeping man. He what? He said every boy should know how to protect what matters. Her throat tightened. Even unconscious and wounded, he was thinking of them. Let me call you back, okay? Okay. Love you, Kemi. Love you too. She set the phone down to find Sung-ho's eyes open, watching her. How long have you been awake? Long enough. His voice was rough with sleep. You stayed. You were hurt. I've been hurt before. Nobody's ever stayed. The vulnerability in his voice made her chest ache. She moved to the bed, sitting carefully on the edge. Why did you promise to teach Tunde Taekwondo? Every boy should know how to protect what matters. He's 10. I was 7 when I learned. His hand found hers. The world is cruel. Better he learns from someone who will teach him discipline along with strength. You mean you? Who else? His thumb traced her knuckles. I protect what's mine. He's not yours. He's yours. That makes him mine. The possessiveness should have frightened her instead. It made her feel something she hadn't felt since their parents died. Protected. That's dangerous thinking, she said. Everything about you is dangerous. He tugged her hand, pulling her closer. But I've never been one to avoid danger. You should rest, she said, suddenly desperate to escape all the tension in the room. I should. He kept pulling until she had no choice but to lie beside him or fall. But I'd rather know why you stayed. I told you. You were hurt. Kemi. Her name on his lips was a prayer and a warning. The truth. She stared at the ceiling, hyper-aware of his warmth beside her. Her body was vibrating now in ways she couldn't stop. I don't know the answer. You do, and I insist. Fine. She turned to face him, finding him closer than expected. I stayed because the thought of leaving felt like ripping something out of my chest. Satisfied? Getting there. His hand rose to her face, fingers gentle. Tell me you feel it too. This insanity between us. I feel insane, yes. He laughed, then winced as it pulled his stitches. You're going to be difficult about this, aren't you? About being kidnapped by a crime lord who's decided I belong to him? Yes, I'm going to be difficult. Good. He pulled her closer until she had to put her hand on his chest to keep distance between them. I prefer difficult. Easy is boring. You're injured. I'm breathing. His eyes dropped to her lips. Though you do make that harder. Sung-ho. Say it again. What? My name. Say it again. Why? Because I've never liked how it sounded until you say it. Her walls crumbled a little more. This man, this dangerous, deadly man, was completely undone by her. Seung-ho, she whispered. He inhaled sharply. You're going to destroy me. You started this, she replied. No, he corrected, hand sliding into her hair. You started this the moment you looked at me with those eyes terrified but defiant, soft but strong. I was finished before you even spoke. That doesn't make sense. Nothing about this makes sense. He pulled her forehead against his. But I'm past caring. They stayed frozen like that, sharing breath, balanced on the edge of something irreversible. A knock shattered the moment. What? Sung-ho snarled, not moving. Sir, urgent news about the woman. Kemi felt him tense. He sat up despite his injuries. All business now. Enter. Baekhyun entered with a tablet. We discovered why the Vipers want her. Explain. Her father. He wasn't just a janitor, he was their witness. He testified against them in court, had information about all their operations. Kemi sat up. That's impossible. My father was a maintenance worker. That was his cover. Baekhyun continued. He was in witness protection. Before he died, he hid evidence that could destroy their entire organization. The Vipers think he told you where it is. He didn't. I don't know anything about evidence. Seung-ho's expression was stone. They won't care. They'll torture you for information you don't have, then kill you and your brother to eliminate loose ends. Oh God. Daniel is safe, Seung-ho said firmly, and staying that way. But for how long? You can't protect us forever. Watch me. This isn't your responsibility. You became my responsibility the moment you walked into my world. He stood, pulling on a shirt despite his injuries. Baekhyun, triple Tunde's security. I want our best on him. Sir, the council is already questioning the resources. Seung-ho's look could have frozen hell. Anyone who questions my decisions can discuss it with me personally. Baekhyun bowed and left quickly. Kemi stood, panic rising. I need to disappear. Take Tunde and run. No, he answered, voice firm. Creases already forming on his forehead. You can't just refuse. I just did. He crossed to her, backing her against the wall. You run, they find you within days. You and Tunde die badly. That's not happening. Then what am I supposed to do? Stay with me. For how long? Forever, ideally. Her laugh was hysterical. You can't be serious. I'm always serious about things I want. His hands rested on the wall on either side of her head. And I want you alive, safe, mine. This is crazy. Yes, he agreed, it is. You don't even know my favorite color. Green, he said immediately. Like the sweater you wear when you're nervous. Your favorite food is jollof rice, but you always order pizza for Tunde. You hum in the shower when you think no one's listening. You bite your lip when you're thinking. You— Stop, she whispered, overwhelmed. You read romance novels but hide them under your mattress. You cry at commercials with children. You— She kissed him. It was meant to shut him up. That's what she told herself. But the moment their lips met, something ignited between them that had been building since that first night. He froze for a heartbeat. Then his control shattered. His hands tangled in her hair, pulling her against him. The kiss was desperate, possessive, everything she'd been afraid of and everything she'd secretly wanted. He kissed like he fought, with complete focus and devastating intensity. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, he rested his forehead against hers. That was a mistake, she gasped. The best mistake you've ever made. This doesn't change anything, she said. This changes everything. He pulled back to look at her, and his eyes were dark with want. You kissed me, Kemi, to shut you up. You kissed me, he repeated, a smile playing at his lips. Which means you wanted to. Which means you've been burning for this too. I feel confused and scared and attracted to me, he completed. That's not what I meant. He kissed her again, softer this time, but no less intense. When he pulled back, she was clinging to his shirt. Your body doesn't lie as well as your mouth does, he murmured against her lips. I hate you. You really don't. Before she could argue, Mrs. Lim appeared in the doorway, carefully not looking at them. Sir, the council is here. They're demanding to speak with you. Seung-ho's jaw clenched. Of course they are. He stepped back from Kemi, and she immediately missed his warmth. Stay here, he ordered. I don't take orders from you. He smiled, dark and promising. You will. After he left, Kemi slumped against the wall, fingers touching her still tingling lips. What had she done? What was she doing? This man was dangerous in every way possible. He'd literally kidnapped her. He was holding her brother as insurance. He killed people for a living. And she'd kissed him. Worse, she wanted to do it again. You shouldn't be here. A voice echoed behind her. Kemi spun to find a woman standing in the doorway. Today she wore a red dress that looked painted on, her lips matching perfectly. I was just exploring. Where you don't belong. The woman entered the room, predatory. This is his private space. No one comes here. Then why are you here? I've earned my place. She circled Kemi slowly. 6 years I've been by his side. I've bled for him, killed for him, almost died for him. Good for you. The woman's eyes narrowed. You think this is a game? You think you can just walk in here with your innocent act and take what I've worked for? I don't want to take anything, liar. She stopped directly in front of Kemi. I see how he looks at you. How you look at him. There's nothing. I've shared his bed, the woman said bluntly many times. I know every scar on his body, every way he likes to be touched, every sound he makes when— Stop. Kemi's chest burned with something that felt dangerously like jealousy. The woman smiled, cruel and knowing. There it is. You want him, I don't. You do. But you should know something. She leaned closer, voice dropping. He'll tire of you. He always does. And when he does, you'll disappear just like the others. You think you're the first pretty thing to catch his eye? You're just the newest toy, when the novelty wears off. That's enough. A deep, thunderous voice exploded from behind them. Both women turned. Seung-ho stood in the doorway, and the temperature in the room dropped 20 degrees. Seung-ho, the woman purred, moving toward him. I was just leaving, he finished. Now. But, Sua, before I forget your years of service, her face flushed. She shot Kemi one last venomous look before storming out. Sung-ho entered the study fully, door clicking shut behind him. "I'm sorry," Kemi said quickly. "I didn't mean to—" "She's lying." "What?" He moved closer. There was something urgent in his expression. "Whatever poison she just put in your head, it's lies." "The others?" "There are no others. Haven't been for years." But she said, "Sua shared my bed occasionally when it suited me. Shared, past tense. As of now." He stopped in front of her. "But she's never been what you are. Which is important." The simple word hit her like a physical blow. "You don't know me well enough for me to be important. I know enough." He reached out, fingers tracing her jaw. "I know you put everyone before yourself. I know you work until your hands bleed because your brother needs medicine. I know you haven't bought yourself anything new in 3 years because Tunde needed school supplies. How? I know you still sing him the lullaby your mother sang to you. I know you're terrified of thunderstorms but pretend you're not so he won't be scared. I know you keep your parents' picture hidden because looking at it hurts too much." Tears burned her eyes. "Stop. I know you're the strongest person I've met, and you don't even realize it. Stop. I know I'm falling for you, and I can't stop it. Don't want to stop it. Please stop." He pulled her against him, holding her while she fought tears she'd been holding back for years. "I know you're exhausted from being strong," he whispered into her hair. "So let me be strong for you." "I can't." "Why?" "Because depending on someone means losing them eventually." His arms tightened. "You're not losing me, everyone says that. I'm not everyone." He pulled back to look at her. "I'm the man who's going to keep you and Tundi safe. Who's going to make sure you never have to clean another floor, who's going to give you everything you've never let yourself want. I don't need it. This isn't about need. It's about want. And I want to give you the world. Why? Why are you doing all this? Why did you have to make my life complicated?" Tears were falling uncontrollably now. "Because you looked at me like I was worth saving." His thumb wiped away a tear. "Do you comprehend how long it's been since someone looked at me like that? I'm nobody special." "You're everything special." He kissed her forehead gently. "And I'm going to spend however long it takes proving that to you." "Your counsel is handled?" "What does that mean?" "It means they understand that you and Tunde are under my protection permanently." Sung-ho. "It means anyone who threatens you threatens me." "You can't just decide that." "I can. I did. It's done." She stared up at him. This impossible man who'd inserted himself into her life like a hurricane. "What if I want to leave?" Something flickered in his eyes. Pain, maybe fear. "Then I'd let you go," he said quietly. "After the Viper situation is handled, after you're safe, if you still want to leave, I'd let you go." "You would?" "It would kill me," he admitted. "But yes." "Why?" "Because keeping you against your will would break you, and you broken is the only thing worse than you gone." Her heart cracked a little more. This man, this dangerous, possessive man, would let her go if she asked, which made leaving feel suddenly impossible. "I don't know how to do this," she whispered. "Do what? Feel this much? Want something I shouldn't want?" His eyes darkened. "What do you want? I think you know, say it." She rose up on her toes, bringing their faces close. "You." He inhaled sharply. "Kemi." "But I'm terrified." "Of me? Of how much I don't want to leave anymore?" He crushed his mouth to hers, and this time she met him with equal desperation. Her hands tangled in his hair, his gripped her waist, pulling her impossibly closer. The kiss was fire and demand and promise all at once. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, he pressed his forehead to hers. "Stay," he whispered. "Choose to stay." "For how long?" "Start with tonight. We'll figure out tomorrow when it comes. And Tunde? Bring him here. Both of you stay where I can keep you safe. People will talk. Let them. Your enemies will use us against you. They'll try." His eyes turned lethal. "They'll fail." "You're so sure." "I've never been more sure of anything." He kissed her again, soft and sweet. "Stay, Kemi." Please. The please undid her. This man who commanded armies, who never asked for anything, was saying, please. Okay, she whispered. His whole body relaxed. Okay, I'll stay for now. I'll take for now. He smiled, that rare, real smile that transformed his face. I'm very good at turning now into always. Arrogant. Confident. Is there a difference? Yes. He backed her against the bookshelf, caging her with his arms. Arrogance is thinking I can make you want me. Confidence is knowing you already do. Her breath caught. Prove it. His smile turned wicked. Careful what you ask for. Perhaps I'm tired of being careful. He studied her for a long moment, something shifting in his expression. You're going to be the death of me, Kemi Okonkwo. But what a way to go, she whispered. He kissed her again, and Kemi let herself fall into him. Tomorrow would bring problems. The vipers, the council, the reality of what she was doing. But tonight she was just a woman kissing a man who looked at her like she hung the moon. Even if that man happened to be the most dangerous person in Seoul, even if she was probably making the biggest mistake of her life, even if she was definitely falling for him too, some mistakes she was learning were worth making. The end came 50 hours later. Tunde was finally here, settled in a room that was bigger than their entire apartment. He'd taken to Seung Ho immediately, following him around like a shadow, asking endless questions that Seung Ho answered with surprising patience. Kemi watched them from the doorway as Seung Ho taught Tunde to play chess. You have to think ahead, Seung Ho explained. Always know your exit strategy. Like in real life? Tunde asked. Especially in real life. Is that why you have so many guards? No. Seung Ho's eyes found Kemi's. I have guards to protect what matters to me. Like your money? No. Like you and your sister. Tunde beamed. Kemi's heart did complicated things in her chest. Kemi says you're dangerous, Tunde said innocently. Seung Ho's lips twitched. Did she? She also said you're kind when no one's looking. Tunde. Kemi's face burned. Seung Ho's expression softened in that way it only did for them. Your sister sees too much. She also said you're handsome, but don't let it go to your head, Tunde. Seung Ho laughed, full and genuine. What else did she say? That you make her feel safe, and that she… Kemi rushed forward, clamping her hand over her brother's mouth. Okay, bedtime. It's only 8. Bedtime. As she dragged Tunde away, she heard Seung Ho's amused voice. We'll continue this conversation tomorrow, little man. After putting Tunde to bed, Kemi found Seung Ho on the balcony, city lights painting him in golden shadow. He'd removed his jacket, sleeves rolled up, tiger tattoos visible in the moonlight. You're good with him, she said softly. He's easy to be good with. He glanced at her. He's like you. Pure. I'm not pure. You are. Untouched by this world's darkness, I've seen plenty of darkness. But it hasn't touched your soul. He turned fully, pulling her against him. That's what makes you so dangerous to me. How am I dangerous? Because you make me want to be better, to be someone worthy of how you look at me. How do I look at you? Like I'm not a monster. You're not. Kemi, I've killed more people than you've probably met to protect others sometimes. Sometimes because they were in my way. Does it haunt you? It used to. His hand cupped her face. Less since you… Why? Because you make me want to be the man you see, even if he doesn't exist. He exists. She turned to kiss his palm. I see him every time you're with Tunde. Every time you look at me. Every time you choose to be gentle when violence would be easier. You're going to make me soft. Would that be so bad? He considered. For anyone else? Yes. For you? I'd become anything. The raw honesty stole her breath. She rose on her toes, pressing her lips to his. He responded immediately, pulling her closer, the kiss deep and desperate. Stay with me tonight, he murmured against her lips. Seung Ho. Just sleep, I need you close. The vulnerability in his voice undid her. Okay. His room was masculine and dark, like him. Kemi changed in the bathroom, putting on one of his shirts that fell to her knees. When she emerged, he was already in bed, watching her with dark eyes. She slipped under the covers, maintaining distance. He didn't push, didn't reach for her, just lay there watching like she might disappear. "I'm not going anywhere," she whispered. "Promise? I promise." He finally closed his eyes, tension leaving his body. Within minutes, his breathing evened out. Kemi watched him sleep. This dangerous man who'd become her safe place. She was definitely falling for him, had probably already fallen. Tomorrow would bring new challenges. The Vipers were still hunting them. The council was still unhappy. Reality still existed. But tonight she was in his bed, his breathing steady beside her Tunda safe down the hall. Tonight she was home. She didn't realize she'd spoken aloud until his arms pulled her against him. "Home," he murmured, still mostly asleep. "Yes." Kemi smiled into the darkness, letting his warmth surround her. Whatever tomorrow brought, they'd face it together. The war came at dawn. Kemi woke to Sung-ho's phone buzzing urgently. He answered instantly, alert speak. She couldn't hear the other side, but his expression turned lethal. "How many?" A pause. "When?" Another pause. "I'm on my way." He hung up, already moving. "What's wrong?" "The Vipers. They've taken one of my warehouses. They're demanding a trade." Her blood turned to ice. "Me for your property. You for 23 of my men they're holding hostage. Oh God. Get dressed. We're moving you and Tunda to the safe house." "No." He paused. "What? 23 lives for one. That's not—" "Don't." His voice was sharp. "Don't even think it, Sung-ho." He crossed to her in 2 strides, gripping her shoulders. "I will burn this entire city to the ground before I let them touch you. 23 lives mean nothing compared to yours. You can't mean that I can." "I do." He pulled her against him, fierce. "You're not negotiable." "But—" A knock interrupted. Baek-hyun entered, face grim. "Sir, it's worse. They have Tunde's friend from school, the one he plays soccer with." Kemi's knees buckled. "Young Jae? They have Young Jae? They say they'll release him if the woman comes willingly. I have to go." "No," Seung-ho snarled. "He's 8 years old, and you're mine to protect. Then protect me while I save him." They stared at each other, wills clashing. "Sir," Baek-hyun said carefully, "there might be a way." Sung-ho's jaw clenched. "Talk. We make the trade, but we have shooters in position. The moment they release the hostages, we take them all down." Sung-ho finished. "Risky. Everything about this is risky." Kemi grabbed his hand. "Please, I can't let that boy die because of me." He stared at her for a long moment, then cursed viciously in Korean. "Fine. But you wear a vest, you stay in my sight, and the second shooting starts, you hit the ground. Okay? Promise me, Kemi. I promise." He kissed her hard and desperate. "If something happens to you, it won't. If it does, it won't." She kissed him back, "Because you won't let it." His eyes burned with determination. "No, I won't." The warehouse district was abandoned, fog rolling off the harbor like ghost fingers. Kemi sat between Sung-ho and Baek-hyun, vest heavy on her chest, heart hammering, shooters in position. Someone reported through comms. Sung-ho's hand found hers. "You don't have to do this." "Yes, I do. Why?" "Because it's the right thing, and because—" She squeezed his hand. "Because I trust you to keep me safe." Something shifted in his expression. "Say that again." "I trust you." He lifted her hand to his lips. "You have no idea what those words mean to me. I think I do." They pulled up to the warehouse. Kemi could see figures inside waiting. "Remember," Sung-ho murmured, "the second I give the signal, you drop." "I know." "Kemi, I know." They exited the car. The Viper leader waited in the center of the space, holding Young Jae's hand. The boy was crying, terrified. 23 of Seung-ho's men knelt in a row, hands bound. "The woman," the Viper leader called. "Send her over." "Release them first," Sung-ho countered. "The woman first." Kemi started walking before anyone could stop her. She heard Sung-ho curse behind her, his footsteps following. "Alone," the Viper leader said. Kemi looked back. Sung-ho's expression was murder incarnate. "It's okay," she mouthed. She kept walking. Each step felt like a lifetime. When she reached the center, the Viper leader smiled. "The famous Kemi, you've caused significant trouble. Let them go. Your father caused us significant losses. I don't know anything about evidence. We'll see. He gestured. His men started releasing the hostages, who ran toward Shung Ho's side. Young Jae was last, sprinting away in tears. Good, the Viper leader said. Now you. The shot came from nowhere, but not at Kemi, at Shung Ho. Time slowed. Kemi saw the muzzle flash, saw Sung Ho's eyes widen, saw him start to move. She didn't think. She just ran. The bullet meant for his heart hit her shoulder instead, spinning her around. Pain exploded through her body. She heard Shung Ho roar her name. Then all hell broke loose. Gunfire erupted from every direction. The Viper leader's head snapped back. Sung Ho's bullet finding its mark, Kemi hit the ground, pressing her hand to the bleeding wound. Through the chaos she saw him coming, moving through gunfire like it couldn't touch him, death incarnate racing to reach her. He slid to his knees beside her, hands immediately pressing on the wound. You stupid, brave, infuriating woman, he snarled. But his voice broke. Why? Couldn't let them kill you. I don't care if I die. I do. She reached up weakly, touching his face. I care. Don't you dare die on me. Not planning to, Kemi. I swear if you die, I'll follow you just to kill you again for leaving me. She laughed, then gasped at the pain. Romantic. I love you, he said desperately. Do you hear me? I love you. You don't get to die when I just figured that out. Her eyes fluttered. Seung Ho. No, stay awake. Stay with me. Love you too. Darkness claimed her. Kemi woke to annoying beeping and the smell of antiseptic. Hospital. Her shoulder throbbed, but she was alive. If you ever do that again, I'll kill you myself. She turned her head. Shung Ho sat beside her bed, looking haggard. Stubble darkened his jaw. His clothes were wrinkled. He looked like he hadn't slept in days. How long? 4 days. His voice was rough. 4 days of not knowing if you'd wake up. Tunde? Safe. Asking for you every hour. The Vipers? Gone. Every last one. She studied him. You killed them all. I told you what would happen if they hurt you. Shung Ho? Don't. He moved to the bed, sitting carefully beside her. Don't defend them. Don't tell me violence isn't the answer. They shot you. You almost died. But I didn't. You could have. But I didn't. She reached for his hand. I'm right here. He gripped her fingers like a lifeline. You took a bullet for me. You've taken several for me. That's different. Why? Because I'm expendable. You're not. You're not expendable to me. He stared at her, something breaking in his expression. Say that again. You're not expendable. Not to me, not to Tunde, Kemi. I love you, she said simply. I didn't mean to, didn't want to, but I do. He leaned down, pressing his forehead to hers. You're going to destroy me only a little. He laughed, broken but real. Marry me. What? Marry me. Let me protect you forever. Let me give you and Tundi everything. Let me wake up knowing you're mine and I'm yours. That's the drugs talking. You're not on drugs anymore. Then it's the trauma talking. It's the truth talking. He pulled back to look at her. Marry me, Kemi. You don't even know my middle name. Adais. Kemi Adais Okonkwo. You hate mushrooms but eat them anyway because they're healthy. You sleep on your left side. You hum when you're happy. She kissed him, shutting him up. Is that a yes? He asked against her lips. That's an, I'll think about it. I can work with that. I'm difficult, remember? I like difficult. I'm stubborn. I'm worse. Tundi and I are a package deal. I already love that kid. Your world is dangerous. Our world. And I'll protect you both from it. She studied him. This beautiful, dangerous man who'd crashed into her life and refused to leave. Ask me again when I'm not in a hospital bed. I'll ask you every day until you say yes. That might take a while. I'm patient. No, you're not. I am for you. She smiled. We'll see. 4 months later, she said yes. 7 months later, they married in a small ceremony with Tundi as ring-bearer. A year later, when she told him she was pregnant, he cried. Actually cried. 3 years later, their daughter was learning to walk. Tunde was studying business, the legal parts, and Kemi had opened a shelter for families escaping violence. Sung Ho watched her sometimes when she didn't know. Watched her laugh with Tunde, play with their daughter, help strangers who needed hope. And every time he remembered that night, the knife in her hand, the fear in her eyes, the moment everything changed. "What are you thinking about?" Kemi asked, settling beside him on the couch, their daughter asleep in her arms. "You," he said simply. "Always you. Sweet talker, truth teller." She leaned into him, fitting perfectly against his side. "I love you. I love you too. Even though I almost gave you a heart attack taking that bullet, especially because of that," he kissed her head. "Though if you ever do it again, you'll kill me yourself." "I know." They sat in comfortable silence, their little family safe and whole. Outside, Seoul glittered with a million lights. Somewhere out there, danger still existed. Enemies still plotted. The world still turned on violence and power. But in here, in their home, there was only love. And for a man who'd never expected to find peace, that was everything. Seung Ho. "Thank you for what? For falling into my world." He laughed softly. "Pretty sure you stumbled into it. Best accident I ever made. The only accident you ever made. Arrogant. Accurate." She turned to kiss him properly, their daughter stirring slightly between them. When they pulled apart, Kemi smiled. "Though next time I clean a room, I'm checking for evidence first. There won't be a next time. You're never cleaning another room again, possessive." "Protective. Is there a difference with you?" "No." She laughed, the sound filling their home with warmth. And in that moment, Choi Sung-ho, the most feared man in Seoul, knew he had everything he'd never dared to want: a family, a home, a reason to be better. All because one night a beautiful woman walked into the wrong room at the right time. Fate, he'd learned, had a twisted sense of humor, but sometimes, just sometimes, it got things exactly right. We've come to the end of our intense Afro-Korean story. Family. It's been quite a journey, hasn't it? I've been working hard to bring you the stories you've been asking for, and your feedback means everything to me. Any suggestions for improvement? Drop them below. I read every comment. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss when we upload. Your support keeps this channel alive. Now, what story should I create next? A forbidden romance between enemies? A revenge tale that turns into love? Or something completely different? Tell me in the comments. I'll respond to every single one. Until next time, keep your hearts open to love across all borders. Annyeong, annyeong.